Hey everybody, I'm finally back in front of the camera. It's been a while. I have had probably 6 weeks of back-to-back colds, so my voice is starting to finally recover. And this week we are going to be painting ABC Warriors Hammerstein. So let's just get into it. You will see in this video I have gone for what I believe is the classic look. It is his bronze armor that I fondly remember from like the 1990s, early 2000s. This, I guess, is either post or pre-Volgan War scenario set in the actual game's in, but I have two Hammersteins, so I thought I'd paint one like this. Hope you enjoy. Remember to drop a like if you do, and let's get into it. Right, so here we have the primed Hammerstein. I've obviously gone for an all-black prime underneath, and I'm going to just cover the model in lead belcher. Very similar to how I did the last one. The big difference is for this model, I've left off his extra arms because I rarely saw them back in the era of Hammerstein that I'm thinking of. He's a little ashamed of them, so it didn't feel right to stick him on. And then, of course, I went for the full-on helmet that he has. That, once again, is how I remember seeing him. So I'm making sure everything is well covered. You really don't have to be too neat at this stage. It is a very heavy dry brush. I just want some dark areas to hold the shadow, the black. And yeah, we'll fix up the base later, so I'm not too worried about that. Just make sure you get a nice solid coat of lead belcher all over the model. And then we can jump into the next step. Right, this next step you'd have seen earlier in the week if you're a die-hard adventurer on the channel. We tested out this scheme on a Space Marine lieutenant during the Imperium magazine article, and it worked. It worked really well. I was quite impressed with how well it worked, so I decided to do it again. So over the lead belcher paint scheme, we're going to go with the hardened leather paint from the Army Painter. This is obviously a light brown colour, but as it dries, it's going to show the lead belcher through. If you wanted a brighter colour, you could go with an even brighter silver as your base coat, but I wanted to go for a dirtier, worn brown colour. So we're just going to work our way around the model, trying to be as neat as I can. A lot of the colours are dark on this model, so I'm not too worried about making errors. But I feel like if the neater you are, the easier other steps will be later. But it is simply a case of going around making sure all the armour plates are covered with this hardened leather. Watch out for any pooling, because you don't want that to happen. And yeah, this in theory should give it a lovely brown bronze finish, which is the Hammerstein that I remember. I'd never actually read the Volgan War until recently. I only had ever read the earlier renditions of the ABC Warriors, so I was pretty surprised when I didn't see this kind of scheme on the Hammerstein and instead saw the silver bluish tones that they had from the Volgan War. I do enjoy the Volgan War scheme, by the way. It looks cool, but this is hashtag my Hammerstein, I guess. I've gone also with the iconic helmet. I can see this being used in the ABC Warrior game. I could have him facing off against the other one and just say this is a different mark of Hammerstein that's come along, or it could be an alternate universe. It could be one from the past that's come to beat up the current one. You know, you can play around with this stuff. It's not hard and fast rules. If you want to have two Hammersteins fighting off, go for it. Right, I think you've heard me waffle enough for now. We will finish up this stage and then come back in a moment. Okay, I'm already loving this scheme. The paint hasn't fully dried yet, as you'll spot in a minute, as I'm trying to do the white rover on his codpiece. But yeah, I didn't leave him long enough to dry, so the brown starts leaking into the white, but we'll fix that later. He looks so cool. It's exactly what I imagined him to look like, and I'm so happy that I bothered to do this stage. I was lucky. I got two kits. I've mentioned this before. I bought one, and obviously Warlord Games kindly sent me one, so I've ended up with some duplicates of the heroes, which isn't the end of the world. Hammerstein, I'm obviously doing this alternative scheme. For Volgan, I'm going to try and do a terrain piece. After the successful terrain video I did last week or the week before, I've decided I'm going to try and do some more terrain. You guys weirdly seem to enjoy me struggling with painting it, so we're going to keep that process going along. And yeah, I'm just using white scar now to pick out some details. So you got his rover name, which is slowly turning brown as we watch this video. Doing the knee pieces, there's some shoulder parts. I'm going to try and pick out his eye lenses. But they're really teeny tiny, so I'm not entirely sure if I'll be able to do that. I don't have the patience to do super neat, tidy paint jobs. That's not who I am. I love my tabletop ready, get paint on a model, start playing some games. And that's what this channel's all about. With the white slowly drying, I grab Gravelord Grey. This is my go-to dark metallic colour that I normally do on my Judge Dredd figures. As you've probably noticed in these videos, I've moved into metallics a lot more with the ABC Warriors, at least for the base coating stage. I feel like these robots do deserve to look a little shiny, so we're not going full metallic on them, but we're definitely using that lead belcher as the undercoat to bring some metallics to life on the model. And the Gravelord Grey, I'm just using anywhere that the black should be going. So obviously his tracks is the main focal point for this, and then his wrist launcher guns will be the other part. While I'm doing this, time to talk about state of affairs of this channel. I recently unlocked some new features. I'm not going to push this too hard. They're there if you want to check them out. It is just the super thanks and just a single tier club. It's not going to affect the viewers in any way, shape or form. If you want to partake, you can. If you don't, you're not going to miss out on anything. There's no paywall. It's just some fun stuff if you want to join in with it. Otherwise, everything's going normal here. I've got a few projects coming up. I want to really try and finish the Marvel figures that I have. So you might see some more Marvel videos coming up. I've got the Aliens box set that I really want to get through, as well as I want to get some Slain boards done, plus tutorials. I want to get some more terrain done in general across all the settings that I've got. There's going to be plenty of compute games coming up. So ultimately, I got a ton of things planned. I've just got to fully get rid of this head cold so I can start doing them properly. So I hope you will continue on the adventure with me and see how much I can get done this year. I am also in the process of maybe creating a Discord. It's not something that hugely interests me, so it might be only an invite-only club, which sounds horrible, but there's a few of you guys that I want to see your projects, and I'm struggling to find you on social media all the time, and I miss stuff and I feel guilty. So I'm wondering if maybe I start a very small Discord. I could invite a few of you regulars that I chat with, and we can just share our projects in there. It would be something very small. I don't want to be spending hours looking after a forum, so I wouldn't grow it to anything crazy. But yeah, that's something else that's going through my brain at the moment. But that is a project later down the line. I just don't have time to look after something or build something at this time. So yeah, but anyway, drop me your thoughts, let me know what you think, and we'll see if we can make it happen. So the bronze pretty much done, a white, now light brown layer done, and the dark greys on. We move to the red. Luckily, areas that had turned white, or areas I'd painted white, have now turned this creamy brown colour, which actually looks pretty good for the stars, so I'm not actually going to clean it up. I'm going to leave it as is. Shocking behaviour, I know. But as you can see, once the red is on it, they don't look that bad. This is a chance look at when something goes wrong, but actually ends up working out quite nicely. I am once again using Army Painter Blood Red. I'm just taking my time. Contrast paint isn't the neatest paint. I could have actually just used like a bow red or something for this stage, but I had my contrasts in front of me, so I'm just very carefully getting a little dollop of paint on my brush, and I'm trying to paint as neat as possible with it. It's trying to run away from me as much as it can. It is contrast paint at the end of the day. It's what it's designed to do. But I'm being patient, taking my time, lining everything. He's coming together really good. I'm actually super excited to see this model finished. Like that, we're pretty much done. I do get my dry brush and load it up with a little bit of lead belcher, And I'm gonna just hit up some edges just to brighten them up. Think of it as a very gentle dry brush. As you can see, I'm just dabbing it down. I don't want to brighten it up too much. I don't want to ruin this bronze color, but I do want him to look like he's got some highlights. And this is a cheap, dirty trick that I've learned. So I'll quickly do that, and then we'll take some glamour shots, and I hope you've enjoyed. And here we go, one finished Hammerstein Warbot. I love him. I think he looks great. He could be used in Judge Dredd. He could maybe time travel back to Slain. I'd happily use him even in something like Space Station Zero as one of the Guardian droids in the missions they have. It's a great model. I highly recommend you slap some paint on it and get gaming already. So I hope you enjoyed. Drop me a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.